There is something unmistakable about a calm, grounded man. He doesn't have to announce himself, perform, or take up unnecessary space. His presence is felt long before his words are heard. In a world where people rush to respond, rush to impress, and rush to fill silence, a man who remains steady becomes a rarity, and people naturally gravitate toward what is rare. Many men fall into a cycle they don't even realize they're in. They overtext. They overexplain. They respond instantly because they're afraid a delayed answer might cause loss. They try to manage every shift in a woman's mood, every moment of silence, every brief change in tone, as if attraction is a fragile flame that will die without constant tending. What they don't realize is that this anxious overinvestment actually smothers the connection they're trying to build. It's not that women want coldness or distance. They don't. What they crave is a man whose emotions do not depend on their every move. A man who can hold himself steady through uncertainty. A man who radiates the message, I am anchored in who I am. I am whole, whether you join my life or not. This is not aloofness. This is inner stability, and inner stability is magnetic. Think of Robert, the 52-year-old accountant who has spent decades building not just a career but a sense of self. When he attended a small wine event, he had no expectations, no agenda. He didn't scan the room looking for validation. He wasn't trying to get anything. He simply existed in his own quiet rhythm. Then he met Laura, a 48-year-old with a warm smile and a life full of experiences of her own. Other men around her tried to impress her with big gestures, loud jokes, and rapid-fire conversation. Robert didn't compete with them, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment with who he is. He spoke when he had something meaningful to say. He listened more than he talked. He allowed the conversation to have gaps, trusting that silence is not a threat but simply part of rhythm between two people. He didn't rush. He didn't overshare. He didn't ask overly personal questions too soon or try to speed up chemistry. Instead, he created space, and space allowed her to relax. She slowed down to match his tempo without even realizing she was doing it. Her shoulders loosened. Her breathing got easier. She found herself genuinely curious about this man who wasn't trying to win her over. That is the power of calm masculinity. A grounded man doesn't need to prove his worth. He lives in a way that expresses it naturally. His steadiness works like gravity. It doesn't demand attention, it draws it. It gives a woman the unexpected gift of feeling safe without being controlled, appreciated without being overwhelmed, seen without being scrutinized. This is where Stoicism aligns beautifully with attraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the strongest man is the one who remains unmoved by distractions, rooted in clarity and intention. In dating, this translates to emotional sovereignty. You don't lose your center because someone is taking longer to reply, or because a conversation takes a different direction, or because her signals aren't perfectly clear. When a woman realizes that her mood doesn't dictate your identity, she relaxes. When she sees she can't manipulate your emotional state, intentionally or unintentionally, she respects you. When she notices you're patient, composed, and unfazed, she pays closer attention to who you are. Not out of confusion, but out of admiration. Healthy mystery emerges from this, not because you're hiding something, but because you don't unload everything at once. You reveal yourself slowly, thoughtfully, deliberately. You share the right details at the right moments. You express interest without urgency. You connect without clinging. You become a man who is attentive without being reactive, available without being dependent, warm without being needy. And that balance creates a deep, memorable pull. Women respond to that. Not because of games, but because emotional mastery is incredibly rare. Your attention becomes meaningful because it isn't scattered or desperate. When you choose to give your time, it's felt. When you decide to share something personal, it lands with weight. When you speak, it's intentional rather than impulsive. And when you touch, it's with confidence instead of hesitancy. This does not mean withholding affection. It does not mean going silent to generate anxiety. It does not mean manipulating timing or playing hard to get. Those tactics are rooted in insecurity, the opposite of strength. It means embodying a kind of masculine presence that is slow, deliberate, and deeply secure. A presence that says, I move with purpose. I speak with clarity. I choose with intention. and I stay grounded, regardless of external noise. When a man lives like this, he naturally stops chasing, persuading, or performing. Women feel drawn to him because he is not trying to force anything. He becomes the calm in a chaotic world, and people gravitate to calm. A grounded man stands out because he isn't trying to stand out. He is centered. He is self-respecting. He is emotionally mature. And in a world full of emotional turbulence, that kind of man becomes unforgettable.